Hi, I'm Surfer Gunn from the Conveyancing Shop Lawyers. I'm going to explain to you today what conditions you need to put in your sale and purchase agreement if you're putting in an offer to buy a property by negotiation. Now, when you're putting in an offer, you'll be given a copy of a sale and purchase agreement. Now, the one that we tend to use is the agreement for sale and purchase that's been put together by the Auckland District Law Society and the Real Estate Institute. Now, it's best to use this sale and purchase agreement. There are a lot of other ones out there, but I would stay well clear of those if I were you. Now, on the sale and purchase agreement, you'll see there's the standard details for the type of property you're buying, the purchase price and deposit. Remember to always make it inclusive of GST, cross out the plus GST. But what I'm talking to you today about is the conditions. So there's three conditions which you should always have in a sale and purchase agreement. The first is finance. Now, you don't need to give the vendor or the real estate agent your personal details. You can fill in the space required here. For the lender, you can put any and the amount required. You can say sufficient to settle. For a finance date, I would recommend having 10 working days because that gives your broker enough time to put the applications through to the bank, get all the documents they need from you, without having any pressure. Then the next conditions you need are a LIM report and a builder's report. Now, both of these cost to get, so you'll need to order a LIM report from the City Council, and that'll tell you everything that the council has on file about the property. So whether it's got all its proper building consents and compliances, and if there's any developments or things that are happening in the area that the council has approved, they'll be noted on the LIM report already. Now, it's a good idea to take the LIM report into your lawyer to let them go through it with you. And then the last condition you should always have is the builder's report. Now, again, you have to pay for a builder's report, and it can be expensive, especially if you don't go ahead and purchase the property. But if you consider the property you're purchasing is worth hundreds of thousands, in the Auckland market probably over $1 million, it's well worth spending $500, $600, $700, $800 to get a builder to come out and check it and make sure that there's no hidden surprises. Now, in order to indicate that you want a LIM report and a builder's report, you just have to circle yes for both of those, and of course fill in your finance conditions, and then you should be covered with the three main conditions. Now, it is also possible to add any other condition you may want into your sale and purchase agreement. You can, for example, make your agreement conditional upon selling another property if you have an existing property that you need the money from in order to finance this purchase. You can also make the agreement subject to due diligence. Now, due diligence is a condition that gives the purchaser the opportunity to do any investigations they might want to on the property. So all my serious property investor clients just use a due diligence because it will reserve the property for them for a certain amount of time, say 10 days. And during that period, they can go and do any investigations they might want. They can get quotes to get things fixed and refurbished and rental appraisals and all that type of thing. And once they're sure that they definitely want to go ahead with the property, they can then confirm and make it unconditional. So if you want to add any condition like this, you need to go to near the end of the sale and purchase agreement. They have a page, the further terms of sale. Now, the further terms of sale is just a blank page where you can add in any of these conditions you might want. Usually, if you tell your real estate agent what condition you're looking at including, they'll have a little pre-printed wording that they can stick in. But it is always very important before going ahead with your agreement that you do get it checked by a lawyer, because it will literally take us 2 or 3 minutes to go through it with you and point out anything that may have been overlooked or something that's poorly worded. And it's much easier to fix a problem at that stage, because once you've signed a sale and purchase agreement, it's a legally binding contract. You can't change it. You can't add anything. You're stuck with it. So definitely, if there's one time in your life you should get legal advice, it's before you sign a sale and purchase agreement. This is the largest investment most people make in their lifetimes, so be sure to get it right.